Good afternoon. This is your brother, student in the ministry, Alvin Muhammad, and thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Trumpet on Greenwood, coming live to you from the Greenwood beat. Again, thank you for tuning in. Today, we are going to break away from what I was speaking on last week because we are getting ready and prepared to promote a very exciting event in the city of Tulsa that's going to be produced or having its origin right here on the historic Greenwood grounds. We are organizing a peace rally because we need to deal with the peace, or establishing peace in our community, because unfortunately we have an increasing amount of murder. And we need, as a community, to come together. So let me begin by saying that I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. And I bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger. And I further bear witness that Minister Louis Farrakhan is indeed the divine reminder in our midst. I greet you all, the listening audience, in the Arabic words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. Again, thank you for tuning into the Greenwood Beat, to this week's edition of the Trumpet on Greenwood. Today's subject is Stop the Killing, a rally for peace on Greenwood. October 16th, 2023 represents the 28th anniversary of the historic Million Man March, a gathering of black men responding to the divine call of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to assemble in Washington, D.C. in 1995. Yours truly was in that number of over 2 million men, and it was a glorious sight to behold, to see that many black men in one location all day and not have as much as a shoveling match. This was indeed the largest gathering of black men in the history of our sojourn here in America, yet it gets very little attention. The historic March on Washington in 1963 is reported to have been attended by 250,000 people of all races, but a gathering of black men seeking atonement from their creator, numbering well over 1 million in attendance, is considered less important than a gathering of us seeking relief from our white oppressors. The theme of the gathering was atonement, and the why or reason for the march in 1995, according to Minister Farrakhan, are as follows. These are the reasons why we were together. Number one, because of the increasingly conservative and hostile climate in America towards the aspirations of black people for justice. Because of the contract with America proposed by the Republicans and thus far agreed to by Congress, that it is turning back the hands of time, depriving the black community of many of the gains made through the suffering and sacrifice of our fellow strugglers during the 50s and 60s. Because of the Supreme Court's decision with respect to affirmative actions, thus setting a climate in the country that opens the door for the ending of progress made in enrollment of blacks into colleges, universities, and business opportunities, and hiring of our people in various businesses in America. Because of the increased rate of crime and violence within the black community and the unfair use of the death penalty as an aspects of the crime bill that suggests that black males will be filling the jails of America and will spend the rest of their lives working for little or no pay in the new prison industrial complex. Because of the proliferation of drugs and guns in our community and the escalation of black male fratricide. Because of the ugly image of black men as thieves, criminals, and savage being projected through the movies and music throughout the world. Because of the climate of hate building against black people in America and against black men in particular. These were the concerns in 1995. How do they compare with our concerns today? According to an August 2022 Pew Research Center report titled, "Black Americans Have a Clear Vision of Reducing Racism, but Little Hope It Will Happen." The report states that more than a year after the murder of George Floyd, and the national protest that ensued, 65% of Black Americans say the increased national attention on racial inequality has not led to changes to improve their lives. And 44% say equality for Black people in America and the United States is not likely to be achieved. Concerning the Supreme Court and affirmative actions, at the end of its term, the Supreme Court recently upended established equal protection law with its decision in the SFFA versus Harvard and the SFFA versus UNC, effectively eliminating the use of affirmative actions in college admissions. This is according to a July 2023 ACLU news article. Even before the Supreme Court decision was sent down, a new Gallup Foundation poll found that at public four-year colleges between 2017 and the fall of 2022, Black enrollment dropped by nearly 90,000 students. At public two-year community colleges over the same period, the decline was even steeper year over year, down more than 200,000 students. According to this poll, discrimination often derails Black learners or students' dreams of better paying jobs or promotions. Concerning the proliferation of drugs in the Black community, according to a March 2022 article in Health magazine titled, "Black Americans Are Now Dying from Drug Overdoses at a Higher Rate Than Whites," it states, overdose rates have been growing fastest among Black communities, says Joseph Friedman, an addiction researcher at UCLA. For the first time, we see them, Blacks, overtaking the overdose rates of whites in our community. Concerning increased violence in the Black community, according to a February 2023, see, I got to give you the facts because we just can't say anything to you today. We have to give you the information so you can go and research it. But according to a February 2023 article by Guilford's Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, it states, gun violence touches every community in every racial group in the United States, but none more so than Black communities. In fact, Black Americans die from gun violence nearly 3 times the rate of white Americans. On average, more than 12,400 people die from gun violence each year, with 15,548 such deaths in 2021 alone, the highest number recorded thus far. When we reviewed the prophetic reasons for why a March on Washington was needed, given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we can see that everything he was trying to warn us about has come to fruition. Deuteronomy 18 and 22 states, "If what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that is a message the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken presumptuously, so do not be alarmed." But everything, brothers and sisters, every reason the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us as to why we needed a March on Washington has come full circle. And we now know, or we should know, that what he has said is in fact from the Lord. And we should be alarmed with the declining condition that our people continue to suffer in. Because it appears that we have fallen back asleep since our great rattling of dry bones at the historic Million Man March, particularly here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Greenwood Chamber of Commerce and the Greenwood Beat radio station is calling on us to observe the 28th anniversary of the Million Man March, a day of atonement, here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, October 13th through 15th, 2023. We are calling all motorcycle riders, clubs, and riders to mount up and ride for peace, to bring awareness to the senseless killings happening in our streets in Tulsa and all over the nation. In recognition of the Million Man March, former Tulsa Mayor Dewey Bartlett and former City Councilman Jack Henderson proclaimed October 16th as Atonement Day here in the city of Tulsa. Minister Farrakhan said, "The Day of Atonement is established by God to help us achieve a closer tie with the source of our wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power. For it is only through a closer union and tie with Him who created us all, who has power over all things, that we can draw power, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from Him, that we may be enabled to change the realities of our life. A perfect union with God is the idea at the base of atonement. We need the power, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of God in the city of Tulsa, aka First 48, in order to stem the senseless killings in our community. We are calling on the black bikers in honor of the oldest, or one of the oldest, recognized motorcycle clubs in the West, called the East Bay Dragons, founded by Toby Jean in 1959, during the time when it was considered revolutionary for a black man to ride a motorcycle. This brotherhood of riders provided black men with a refuge from violence and drugs that was wreaking havoc in the black communities during the 50s and 60s. I remember when it was considered unpopular and disrespectful for a black man to be riding a horse. They suffered the same type of racism when black men came together and decided to ride motorcycles. This is America, but we are still rising, even though they try to keep us down. But this motorcycle group took the lead during this time where black men and women were suffering, when black men and women needed family, when black men and women needed a community. They were not the Black Panther Party, but they supported the movement to help us wake up to realize what was happening to our community. So in honor of this motorcycle group, we are riding for peace here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When the crack epidemic took hold of the country in the 1980s, the Dragons kept many men out of trouble by providing a support group and a sense of family and brotherhood. So we are calling on all black motorcycle clubs in Tulsa and the surrounding cities to gather on historic Greenwood and showcase the brotherhood and sisterhood that made the East Side Bay Dragons and the Defiant One Motorcycle Club of Los Angeles such an effective defense against the negative influences in our society. Let us assemble, brothers and sisters, on historic Greenwood, October 13th through 15th, and take a revolutionary stand against the senseless killings happening within our communities on a daily basis. After assembling on historic Greenwood on Saturday, October 14th, we will ride out of Greenwood and carry that revolutionary spirit of brotherhood through 3 to 4 historically black towns in Oklahoma, roaring through these towns with the thunderous message of stop the killing. After returning to Tulsa that evening, we will reassemble October 15th at the Greenwood Cultural Center Sunday, October 15th for a community peace rally, which includes guidance from local leaders and hopefully a national keynote address by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan via live stream. We must do some house cleaning, brothers and sisters, here in the city of Tulsa, and the black motorcycle clubs are positioned to take the lead in this battle against these senseless killings. Presently, according to a USA Today report, Oklahoma is number 12 in the nation for cities with the most violent crimes. Number 12. Tulsa sits at number 2 of the most dangerous cities in Oklahoma, following Shawnee, that sits at number 1. Oklahoma is in the midst of a domestic violence epidemic, ranking first, number 1, in the country in the perpetuation of domestic violence and third in domestic homicides. Oklahoma ranks 6th in the nation in suicide at 21.9%, and we are averaging 645 drug overdose deaths per year. So this October, brothers and sisters, it is well past time to refocus on the divine message of atonement provided to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on October 16, 1995, and re-engage our community to stop the senseless killings that is taking far too many black lives. How long will we sit back and wake up every morning to hear of another valuable life taken in the senseless acts of gun violence? How many more of our people, our family members, must die of suicide because they don't have a support base there? They don't have anyone to talk to. How many more of our brothers and sisters will, due to black fratricide or brokenness, kill each other in the streets? Why do we sit back and allow this to go on? It's not going to disappear. It's going to require us as a community to come together and get out in the streets and fight against this problem. We have to be willing to die so that others can live. But if we sit back and allow our young brothers and sisters to die in the streets as we are doing, then this situation will only get worse. We are losing too many lives. How can we say Black Lives Matter when we do nothing to prevent the perseverance of black lives, to keep black lives here? We sit back and watch our brothers and sisters kill each other. What will we do to stem this problem? We condemn the police, but we sit back and we wait on the police to go into our communities and solve these problems. How can we rely on those whom we call our killers to stop us from killing each other? That sounds and looks kind of backwards. So we have to take the lead, and we need everyone involved in this process. But we are asking the motorcycle clubs to lead the way. We're asking the motorcycle clubs to come together and show our community how we can work together to solve this horrible problem that is affecting our community. We must stop the killing, and we need our brothers and sisters to come together. We need the 918 riders. We need everybody out involved. We need big wheels. We need Heels on Wheels. We need everybody to come out and gather on Greenwood and come together, and let's roll out and leave this message in the cities that we visit and in this city that we must stop the killing. So again, I didn't have much this week, but I wanted to come to you because we are launching the registration for the Greenwood Chambers Motorcycle Rally Peace Tour that we are going to be conducting October 13th through 15th down here on historic Greenwood, and we need all you all support. So please spread the word. Please register. We have launched the website. I've shared it, and if you see it, please share with others. We need your support. This is the first annual, so we intend to do it every year because we need not go back to sleep. We need to deal with this problem. We need to stop the killing in our community. So this is the first annual Greenwood Chamber Black Motorcycle Peace Rally. So please spread the word, register, and support our efforts so we can stop the killing in our community. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum.